Hello! I've been asked to put together a short video about OneNote and how I use it in class. Let's jump into it. Okay, the first thing to note I think is that there are actually two versions of Microsoft OneNote, and you will find that if you install Office, you will see this version of OneNote, which you should be familiar with because it kind of looks like what you will find in the other Office apps like Word and Excel. If you are like me and you didn't realize it, and you went and installed Windows 10, right? You will find that actually it does come with OneNote pre-installed, and it kind of looks a little bit different like this. I'm not sure about you, but I find that after using it for a while, admittedly I used the Windows 10 version later, I don't really like this old school classic look, and I definitely much preferred this. The layout is different, and you will notice that instead of being on the left in the Windows 10 version, a lot of the menu are on the top and to the right, which makes it look not so nice. So if you are into aesthetics and or just the functionality bit, perhaps it's good for you to try them both first. The difference, of course, is that this is the version that you get with Microsoft Office. Assuming that you have Office, then you should have this. But let's say you don't have Office, then no problems. The Windows 10 version right here is available for free. So you can just go and download that from the Microsoft Store, I think. Not a problem at all. Let's talk about features. Right here, you will see there are three main parts to the app. I'm of course referencing the OneNote for Windows 10 version, and I will be doing that for the rest of the video. So if you'd like to know more about the Office version, you gotta ask someone else. Okay, so but they are mostly the same. Now I just want to highlight that this is on the left you have the page navigation, on the right you have the page view. All right, and of course at the top area you have the familiar functions such as insert, draw, view, albeit a little bit simpler compared to what you would find in the Office version. Now from here you can see that it's actually separated into the notebook, followed by the categories, and then the pages. Now apparently you can have as many notebooks as you want. I always thought you were limited to one notebook for some reason, right? But it's a bit too late for me to kind of move things around now because I'm quite used to it already. So I see no reason to try to change anything. But if you are thinking about using it for the long term, you might want to consider how you want to section out both maybe your classes and maybe your own personal notes. Maybe you have tuitions too, right? What I've done is I've just put together some of the common ones here like tuition. But yeah, still looks kind of messy sometimes. So you can think about that, right? We're back. Here, I just want to show you what I've done, an example of how I use OneNote to basically create a series of simple notes using colors and also highlights just to make it stand out a little. And certainly this is one of the many ways that you can use OneNote, right? Just as a way to type out your notes if you don't already have a writing stylus tablet, for example. So it's perfectly serviceable, I think, for you to add pictures. Everything is drag and drop, and you can just bring out your notes. And of course, the best part is that you can reuse it later down the road if you need to, right? Because everything is organized neatly here for you. Another thing that I do with OneNote is that I normally would use it as a canvas, and I think it's really good when you need to draw things or to write numbers, because it really is a bit hard to, you can write things and drag it onto wherever you need it to be, but I find that it's a little unintuitive, so that's not very good about OneNote. But if you do have a stylus or drawing tablet, then it really becomes a lot easier for you to write things and to go through, for example, like this year 3 material that I have here. It really makes a lot more sense to write it along with the kids, as they're doing it with you. It kind of gives them the sense that I think that they're doing it together, right, as they see it being written. Again, just trying to replicate as much of the physical classroom as we can, although it's different. But I feel that sometimes It does help, and I use this a lot. This, as you can see, with the year 3 class, I do use quite a bit of OneNote, mostly to guide them through the working when it's more advanced or difficult, like a word problem, especially when I need to start drawing things, diagrams, and things that sometimes it takes a while to load here. Things that, for example, if I want to show working for, in this case, long division, things that would just almost be impossible to do. Yeah. Oh, by the way, you can also change the paper view at the back, which really helps. You can have it to like straight lines or boxes, and you can fit it all to make it neater. To me, that's really useful. And I think if you're thinking about teaching maths, OneNote probably is about as good as it comes, because it not only is a whiteboard, which apparently you do have a whiteboard app. Oh, okay. Apparently you can download a simple whiteboard app that's built into Windows itself, but then you don't have a way to store your notes. And I like to keep a copy of my notes just in case I ever need them again sometime later. So to me, this works great. And that's it. I think that's the end of the video. I just like to say that it's not going to apply to every teacher in every setting. Definitely the subjects that you teach, your style of teaching, and most importantly, how well you know the kids plays a big difference in terms of managing the class, managing the environment, and no amount of equipment will really help you to overcome some of the problems that the students present some days. And it's just important to keep in mind that it's difficult to communicate over the internet, regardless of whether you have the best camera or the best microphone. It does help, those things help, but so does having a lot of patience. At the end of it though, I would say that if you don't have any of these things at all, you don't have a monitor or a desktop or Wacom tablet or microphone, or you don't have a lot of these things, and you just not in the position to buy them at this point, which makes sense because they are really expensive, right? Some of this equipment. I would just say that the best thing you can do is just to focus on making sure that your internet is solid. If you don't have a solid internet at home, then that's a tough one. You're going to need to think about how else you can find good, reliable internet, because that's the main thing that will affect the learning experience as you try to share screen or show anything. Otherwise, everything becomes a slideshow and it's really a bit messy. I would also suggest that you just look around and see what you can repurpose or reuse. Some teachers have gone so far as to buy secondhand things to help them to level up their equipment, such as a secondhand monitor, which may work for you. You really gotta take into consideration what is worth it and what is worth investing in. And yeah, if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to any of us. I hope these tips are useful, and all the best for you in managing your own individual classes. Take care.